Welcome back to JDrama today. Tonight, we're diving deep into a story that moved thousands of fans across Japan and beyond. A story of change, emotion, and rebirth. It's about one of Japan's most loved rock bands, Mrs. Green Apple. For years, this trio has created music that touches the soul, mixing joy, sorrow, and hope into songs that become the soundtrack of people's lives. From powerful anthems like Inferno to the nostalgic Ode to Natsu, they've grown together with their fans. And now, as they celebrate a decade of their journey, Mrs. Green Apple has officially entered a brand new era, what they call Phase 3. But this new phase isn't just another project. It's a continuation of their story, one that began with youth and passion, passed through growth and rediscovery, and is now stepping boldly into the future. On October 20th, during their Tokyo FM radio show School of Lock, Mrs. Locks, the three members, Motoki Omori, Suzuka Fujisawa, and Koto Wakai, sat down for a heartfelt talk. It was their first conversation together after the important announcement from Mrs. Green Apple YouTube livestream and a Phase 3 opening announcement press conference held on October 16th. The clock had just struck 8:45 p.m. when the press conference ended. The atmosphere was filled with emotion. The members stood side by side under the stage lights, their voices steady, but their eyes showing how much this moment meant to them. Later that night, Omori would say with excitement during the radio broadcast, "Today is October 16th. It's 8:45 p.m. We just held the press conference." Even as he laughed, you could hear pride and relief in his voice. For him and his bandmates, this was not just an announcement. It was the beginning of something they had been preparing for, dreaming about, and building towards for months, maybe even years. Fans who tuned into the October 20th broadcast had already watched the YouTube livestream, but hearing the members speak about it together made everything feel more real. Omori explained what they had revealed at the conference. "We announced that Phase 2 will end by the end of the year, and that Phase 3 will begin on January 1st next year. There's no hiatus, but we'll take a little break in summer." His words carried a mixture of excitement and reassurance. He wanted fans to know that there wouldn't be another long pause like before. This time, their journey would keep moving forward, just with moments to breathe and reflect. Wakai, with his usual cheerful tone, jumped in and said, "That's right." Their friendship was evident in every exchange. You could imagine the three of them smiling, maybe looking at each other across the studio table, feeling both nervous and proud. After years of working together, their bond was stronger than ever. Fujisawa then added softly, "It feels like we really just announced it. We've been preparing for this for a long time, but now it's finally real." Her voice trembled slightly with emotion, and you could sense how much the transition meant to her. Omori asked gently, "What emotion do you feel the most right now?" Fujisawa thought for a moment and said, "The feeling that the words Phase 2 completion have finally arrived." That simple line carried enormous weight. For Mrs. Green Apple, Phase 2 wasn't just a label, it was a chapter of renewal. It marked their return after a temporary hiatus, a time of rediscovery when they found new meaning in their music and reconnected with who they truly were as artists. Phase 2 had brought them closer, not only to each other, but to their fans. Wakai smiled and agreed, "That's true. The opening of Phase 2 had a huge meaning for us." Then Fujisawa laughed as she recalled a touching moment from the press conference. During the announcement, when Motoki started speaking first, I almost started crying. She said, Wakai immediately teased her with a laugh. "I thought, oh no, Ryo-chan's gonna cry." The three of them burst into laughter on air, and the mood lightened. You could feel their friendship shining through. This wasn't just a band. It was a family. Even though they were discussing an important milestone, the atmosphere remained filled with warmth and humor. It reminded everyone listening that Mrs. Green Apple's charm lies not only in their talent, but in their authenticity. They talk like old friends who've been through everything together. The hard times, the breakthroughs, the sleepless nights before big performances. Their bond is something that can't be faked, and fans have felt that from the beginning. Omori continued enthusiastically. We also announced that we'll release an original album around autumn, and next year marks the 10th anniversary of our fan club, so we'll be putting even more effort into everything. The excitement in his voice painted a picture of what's to come: new songs, new stories, and a celebration of a decade spent growing with their listeners. 10 years. 10 years of creating music that has inspired countless people. Think about that. A full decade of songs that have become the emotional backdrop of people's lives. For many fans, Mrs. Green Apple's music was there during high school, through heartbreaks, during the excitement of new beginnings, or in quiet moments of loneliness. Each song carried a piece of truth, of youth, of hope. And now, stepping into Phase 3, the band promised to give their all once again, to evolve, to explore, and connect even deeper. As the conversation went on, Fujisawa accidentally slipped into Kansai dialect. Wakai burst into laughter, teasing her. "Why are you suddenly speaking in Kansai dialect?" Omori joined in, joking. "What? Is this a throat lozenge commercial?" The room filled with laughter again. These small, genuine exchanges made listeners feel close to them, as if they were sitting right there in the studio, sharing the moment. Despite the seriousness of their announcement, they never lost their natural warmth or humor. That's what makes Mrs. Green Apple so special. Even after all their success, they remain approachable and real. They're artists, but also ordinary people who laugh, joke, and sometimes fight nerves just like anyone else. Their honesty is what fans love most. The conversation turned toward the meaning of change and how each phase of their journey isn't an end, but a continuation. Omori spoke about how every phase represents growth, a new start built on everything they've learned so far. Phase 1 was their youth, filled with passion and discovery. Phase 2 was their rebirth, a time to rediscover their identity as musicians and people. And now, Phase 3 represents a new horizon, full of creativity and courage. Omori's closing words that night summed up everything perfectly. He said softly, "We'll continue to give everything we have, together, so please keep walking with us." Those words carried quiet strength and gratitude. It wasn't just a message to fans. It was a promise. When the broadcast ended, you could imagine the studio falling silent for a moment. The laughter faded, replaced by a shared sense of peace. They had officially stepped into their next chapter. For the members of Mrs. Green Apple, the future was wide open, and for the fans who had supported them from the beginning, it felt like they were starting the journey all over again, together. Mrs. Green Apple is not just a band. They're storytellers of emotion, weaving the struggles and hopes of youth into melodies that never age. From the energetic days of Phase 1, to the heartfelt comeback of Phase 2, and now into the bold adventure of Phase 3, their journey continues to inspire. Their story reminds us that growth never truly ends. Every ending is the start of something new, and every pause is simply a breath before the next song begins. Thank you for watching JDrama today. If you love stories like this, about Japan's most inspiring artists, their journeys, and the emotions behind their music, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for the next story. Until then, keep listening, keep dreaming, and never stop believing in new beginnings.